Good morning, Devils fans. Welcome to the JerseyJoe Corner. Last night, the New Jersey Devils selected from the WHL Spokane Chiefs, Ty Smith. And so we're going to talk about Ty Smith today. This is the annual first round edition of the JerseyJoe Corner. So for those who remember last year, I did the Nico Hischier special. So this is going to be the Ty Smith special edition. So with other words, I am looking at The Athletic. This is an article written by Corey Massasak 5 hours ago. And so I'm going to read some stuff from Corey Massasak for you. So he was just talking about how it's pretty amazing to have a young kid being raised from the moment he was born to basically put the skates on. So I'm going to tell you about what Paul Castron was saying about selecting Ty Smith. So Castron was on the New Jersey Devils page, and he was talking about how after drafting forwards, it's great to have a defenseman. And Amanda C. Stein of the New Jersey Devils, the beat writer for the Devils, goes and asks if you could compare Ty Smith to an NHL player, and actually Castron gives two. And he goes, there's a lot of qualities that he has in Andy Green when he plays. So my guess is when you see Andy Green, it's more about being a smart defenseman. Also, when Andy Green was a lot younger, he was a little bit more mobile, and he could still actually shoot the puck and create some offense. But also, he compared him to Will Butcher. And Will Butcher, for all you know, is he's a really great passer, really good on the quarterbacking, the power play, joining the rush. You know, someone who also helps retrieve pucks and definitely keeps the puck above the blue line, but also controls the exits and all the other important things going up the neutral zone, stuff like that. And what I'm reading here is Smith had 73 points in 69 games for the Spokane Chiefs, the second most among defensemen in the Western Hockey League. And he says here he was named first team All-Star in the league's Western Conference. And goes, two players who earned second team honors were Juuso Välimäki and Henri Jokiharju, who were selected in 2017, were both 2017 first round picks. And Andy Schneider, who's one of the Devils scouts, goes, I had a feeling from when he was 16, I thought he had the potential to be a high pick. Last year, he just took off. The way he played and the amount of minutes against the top players on the other team and what he was able to do offensively, it was just exceptional. Now, from the eyes of a fan reading about that from a scout, it says a lot about how a kid who's under 18 at the age of 16 begin to develop and progress so rapid. It's started to see more in today's NHL that a lot of kids, well, especially in Smith's case, that he's quote-unquote undersized. Yes, he's undersized, but he delivers being a nice fluid skater, but he also is very, very smart. He's a hockey IQ guy, and a lot of players nowadays are going to have hockey sense being a key asset. So he's going to be someone who will quarterback a play and make a big difference. And for those of you who like someone who can kind of be like that really good defenseman, but also can play offense as well. So you can see a little bit of John Moore when he shoots, but he actually does play more like Butcher. So I tend to credit the offensive style towards uh, Butcher, but he actually grew up idolizing Duncan Keith of the Chicago Blackhawks. And Duncan Keith's probably one of the best two-way defenders, especially from a Devils fan standpoint. Scott Niedermayer is the best. So, yeah, that is true, especially winning several Stanley Cups. Both guys already did. Then it goes on down to see scoring chances per 60. This is Ty Smith blows out Keandre Miller. A little over 5.6 or 5.7 versus 4.1 for Keandre Miller for scoring chances. So, Devils fans, looks like we got ourselves a gem. I wouldn't be surprised if he turns out in the next 1 or 2 years, as long as he puts on some weight and some muscle, this kid's going to be pretty dynamic. And right here, this is essentially a measure of shot quality, which is typically attained in two ways by defenders. The first is leading the rush and getting deep into the zone. Like Ty Smith does so well, a dominant scoring chance creator. Smith isn't flashy, but he's a smooth skater with an explosive first step and smooth hands. He also sees lanes that many players don't, enabling him to generate scoring chances off the rush. So a lot of players nowadays are going to get extra smarter, and they're going to be a little quick to exploit those holes. This is basically what I'm saying from that quote. To quote Wayne Smith, the father, okay, sometimes parents can be biased, but this is one man's opinion. He says he's more like Niedermayer, Scott that is, than Stevens, Scott. And then he goes on to say with a chuckle, I don't know if anybody can skate like Scott Niedermayer, but that would be a better comparison. Yeah, that's a high comparison, but it's also high expectations too. But I do see that he's in great company. And it does say the game has changed, and the Devils Defense Corps, both at the NHL level and in the system, reflects that. And it puts down Will Butcher and Sam Nivaden are undersized in the traditional sense as the athletic rights. And then top prospects the Devils have are Riley Walsh, Jeremy Davies, and now Ty Smith are too. Then back to the Devil Scout. Schneider goes on to say, they are all smart players. Smith is a good puck mover. Yeah, he's not the biggest guy, but he's really competitive, and that's the most important thing. The way the game's going now, his style is just going to fit in great. He's going to excel, is his conclusion. So, and it goes here, the Devils are also pretty adamantly a best available team, especially early in the draft. Best available and position of need converged Friday night, and New Jersey was able to do both, which is pretty huge. So then, if you look at years past, the Devils haven't drafted a defenseman in the first round since, if I recall correctly, Adam Larson. Everyone knows Adam Larson was traded for Taylor All, 1-for-1. And that was a very huge moment in the Ray Shero Castron era, when basically Ray Shero took over the reins from Lou Lamoriello and getting rid of David Conti and basically bringing in Castron from Columbus at the end of 2015 draft. So that was a huge acquisition. It says in the first round, it would have to be something crazy to make that change from the best available to addressing a need, Castron said. We did talk about a D, defense. We've drafted a lot of forwards the past couple of years. It is nice to get a defenseman. And then onto the next paragraph goes, he's got a really good feel for the game. He's excellent at getting the puck out of the D zone. Some of the guys who have seen him more than me compare him to Andy Green in a lot of ways. And he's done a great job for us a long time. So basically, guys, to conclude this Jersey Joe corner, let me know what you think. You could also subscribe, but also keep your eyes peeled with the way, if you do not have the Athletic subscription, you can also read a bit of Corey Masisak on Twitter, but also I get more information from other guys on Twitter outside Corey Masisak, and I do like Dennis Schellenberg of the Scouting Factory. He's a Swiss scout who scouts Europe, and he's someone I've been tweeting with for a few years, and he does have his opinions on skaters, and I do have to plug him in sometimes. For those of you getting ready for round 2 through 7, it's going to be an interesting day. Don't be surprised if Ray Shero does pull off a trade, because per Steve Pagnotta, he actually saw Ray Shero at Nashville's table for 10 minutes yesterday. So there could be something, because I think the only thing that Nashville has something to offer would be Ellis and Ekholm would be available, but also I know in the past there were the rumors of PK Subban, and I wouldn't be surprised if Shero were to pull off another blockbuster, because lately it's been his calling card each year. So I say keep your eyes peeled. Something could happen. I could be wrong, but all right, everyone. Have a great draft day. Let's go Devils.